one point, did you audition for the Ultimate Fighter, sir? That's something that's around the town, so I wanted to ask.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Back in the day, yeah, I did. We did fly out to Newark, New Jersey.
Nice.
I think they were doing a 135 pound, 145 pound like open call, and so it was actually my brother and I, and then we had another guy at the gym that we all flew out to Newark, New Jersey, and we got to try out, and it was in 3 stages. There was probably like 800 or 900 people there,
Mm-hmm.
of lightweights, and you're seeing like, man, I'm looking at some of the people on, and there's like world champion wrestlers and high level strikers, and you're like, oh man, how am I going to get through this?
For sure.
So they broke it in 3 sessions. The first one was a striking, like a mid session.
Mm-hmm.
So if you passed, they moved you on to the next level, whatever they liked, and then if you didn't, they just said, all right, thank you, have a nice day.
Mm-hmm.
So the first level, my brother and I, we made it through. And then like half the group, makes it through ish, and then so we were in the second phase. In the second phase was a different kind of animal. It was grappling, right?
Mm-hmm.
But in the room was those like 5 or 6 tables that were really long, and a Dana White sitting in the middle of the table with like a stack of hundreds on the table. And then this was, hey, you're gonna get a few minutes to grapple, and then every submission you can pull off, here's $100. And I was like, oh, cool. I'm like, please, I hope I get somebody easy. Try to make some money. So but I got somebody who was pretty tough. We both fought pretty well, so neither of us tapped each other, but there was a guy in there who got like 10 submissions, and I'm like, man, he just got $1,000. So
In the audition.
yeah, in an audition, that was just nice. And so after that part, and then you went into the final phase, and that part was different, totally different, out of our element. And so that part was meeting with the marketing and the movie production and all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And they wanted to see, like, I don't know, I'm guessing what they wanted to see. They were looking at your character. Are you good on camera? And they, when we walked in, they're like, we don't give an F who you are, what you've done, your belt. We don't give an F about anything. It's about how you put on a show, and I just started laughing. I'm like, oh man, I'm out, because I'm not that kind of person that's gonna put on that, I'm like, oh man, I'm out, and those only, we made it to, that's the final phase. There was probably only like 40 or 50 guys in line from that,
Mm-hmm.
and so, we got weeded out of all the people that were there. We were in the final bunch of kind of just, so it was up to the movie production and all that kind of stuff, which were the final group. So it was kind of interesting. I mean, it was a great experience. And so, there was a guy in line. He's like in his jeans with no shirt on and drinking a beer. And he's like, man, I'm going to smash everybody in this house. And I was like, I bet you that guy's going to be on the show. And guess what? When they did the show, that dude was on there, he fit the personality, right? He fit with the criteria of what they wanted. And so, it is what it is, and it was a good experience, and got to see Dana White firsthand. But, it was what it is. And, you move forward and you learn from it, right? So
That's really cool.
it was fun.
Yeah, that is a really cool story. Thank you for sharing that with us. That's something that like I said, I heard, so something I'd like to ask. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's cool. I think a highlight in that trip is our logo, right? We flew to New Jersey, and then we came all talking about that faith base, and our logo points to that, right? And when I got off the airport and we walked outside, here's a lady smoking a cigarette, and then she looks at my shirt and she's like, hey, I know what that means. I'm like, you know what that means? And she points to the man and is like, the man upstairs. I'm like, yeah, so here I am with a random stranger talking about Jesus at an airport, and then I'm like, that's exactly what the logo is meant to do, is to have those conversations about faith, and just be like, hey, it just allows us to connect in a way where let's open up as human beings, so and she got the message, so that was great.
Yeah.